他是怎么做到的？那么瘦？
不知道呀，反正
以前你玩的是个小包子，好吧？
不知道为什么瘦了那么多。
以前绝壁是个小包子，我靠，包子脸。关键有时候鼻子还是红的。
It's a rough place to be. It's definitely not what we wanted to see for these guys, especially Spirit, because I feel like Spirit is so good this year. He always seems to step up at Katowice, and
他们这个就是一个小剧场，大概能坐个300多人，小剧场上面打。
It's obviously just not working out so far. A win here maybe gives them a chance if other results fall their way, but it's going to be pretty darn tough.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Both of them not in a good position whatsoever. But when you're against the other guy that's 0-3 in the group, you got to be looking at like, this is my chance now to start making a comeback, trying to make things turn around for the better. And I know that they both know that they have so much to show.
这个评价其实不是很高，这个在这一届的。哎，我很想看一下，待会儿夜蝶评多少分？我靠！
哎，对，他是上舞台的嘛，可以看一看。可能跟 tirgger 差不多。
鸡哥的这个评分应该是看不到了，他应该上不了舞台。
我说夜蝶应该跟 tirgger 差不多，70来分。哪位 CS 卡托6强都没进。哎呀妈 ，CS 不是现在这个小孩炸鱼嘛？我靠！你知道吗，孙哥 ？CS 出了个17岁的小孩，把这些所有人都炸了。
那么强吗？
夸张！我操，把这些顶级选手打来不敢对枪了。
哼。
Yeah, we can call these guys the Bumblebee lads.
The Bumblebee lads. They were very much. I noticed on the map views. I was like, hey, you guys look good together.
No, they absolutely did. Absolutely did. It is going to be Oceanborn here to start things off between.
那个小孩现在是不是
接跑了？你妈的！
He's a guy that has a lot of builds up his sleeve. Like we all know that he can play these.
他妈有点横空出世的感觉啊！
不，那以前推的很凶的那个什么
，Simple 嘛，
那个就Simple。
打不过，现在他妈的对枪都不敢对。
有那么夸张吗？
打不过，感谢大天使泰瑞尔的一个飞机感兄弟，一口也打不过那个逼啊！那个小孩就炸鱼了，现在开始。打不过。Simple 不打了，你让他来，现在。你让他来，
就纯粹是对枪对不过，是吧？是吧？
你让他来跟那个杜克打，都得死。
哪个国家的嘛？这个杜克，
反正好像那个雪碧那个队的，我今天是抖音刷到的。哎呀，你让他来，你妈的，你一口你妈没碰到，你妈没碰到是他运气好。妈杜克粉10年粉不请自来，然后这也是谁抢我就粉谁。什么尼可，什么载物，什么你妈的 Simple 不认识。
Yeah, absolutely. Like Spirit's most likely follow up here, just getting out some reactive marines, probably a Hellion to scout, given that he's forgone the Reaper in this matchup, and maybe just into good old standard terror.
装备枪兵啊！
But Trigger, he's a guy that likes his.
那如果枪兵不行的话，前期应该是要去压制一波。
Council on the way. He's a guy that he likes his expansions with it. He likes his aggression with it. And if you know a player is more common than not,
VC 啊，这把
there's a lot of timings that you can hit before it's really online with tanks and stuff. And Spirit, he's good about those pushes, man.
哎
No, he is really good about those pushes, hitting early, kind of getting.
有点小伤啊。
感觉 tirgger 的打法应该还是跟之前蛮像的，就是闪追压制，然后转去向，可能还是。
Go very wrong very quickly. Factory is going to float on over to the reactor here, so we're going to see a chunk of units coming out very soon. Oftentimes, couple Hellions into a couple mines. The Hellions run by.
火车啊！
Get dropped. These plays are pretty common. That doesn't make.
这样的话，这个第一波出门火车如果哎，这个两边其实都会难受。
被绕进去了。
我这没事，
没敢去，他没敢去。
你不打吗？你不去的话，那别人来了呀。啊，回城。那可以走了呀，看到回城就可以走了。
下午打风暴之门遇到黄哥，好强啊！蹭！今天我被一个恶魔打傻了。
他怎么打的？
他你妈，他就是空投这个科多兽，你妈的包夹我。
空投科多兽包夹你啊！
就他打的时候，他在正面跟我 A 的时候，他背面你妈的有2个运输机，你妈投4个科多兽包夹，把我你妈的踩傻了。
也是个思路。我想的是空投农民，然后下来之后直接变那个炸弹人。
来不及吧？可能会被点吧。
不，你只要投下来就来得及。
Oh man, I don't like this for Spirit so far. I think he's putting himself in a big spot of bother here already.
Yeah, no, I think this becomes a little bit rough. As let's see what he can do with these mines. Stalker's already in position. Shows up now. These mines will get burrowed, and again they will stay there as well.
这是隐形地雷啊
！They'll only get to fire once each. Does hit one probe there and wait. Probes do move back.
哇靠！
还好。还好，我靠，他还操作，你妈是不是人？
他有不林可能他肯定要操作。哎，不会吧？他不会以为走了吧？
再投，这 tirgger 妈不会中个大的呗？
中不了。
炸弹人能闷进运输机，不知道没试过呀。风暴之门在这个 Steam 新品节好像排第2名。还可以，他们数据还不错。
但炸弹人是那个
农民变的，
所以农民对他变得很快，主要是你下来之后直接那个
就毒爆呀，
直接搞。
哎呦，
哇靠！这个紧张的呀。
这个没了呀！
而且炸弹人是你变了之后，他就马上算时间，他就要炸的，所以说这个只能够投进去这样炸。有个坦克打进去。哎，这都炸了一下。
2个人强换了呀。摸坦克，
他很伤啊，
还可以，他把围巾点掉了，还可以，还可以，他你妈还能跳一次，这边又投，反应过来了，
啊，他炸 OB 漂亮，
妈个鸡，炸 OB 是有点烦啊，他回一个 OB 回来了，
真的是个杂种。等第2个坦克，他现在这个坦克不敢架，先修一修吧。他还是往前面架一步，可以跳脸，这肯定要跳脸。后面又来一个坦克，农民带枪兵直接上，
继续装。感谢圣迪克的飞机，
对，感谢圣迪克。
哎呦，这个还是
守住
18个农民杀了，农民数量差不多，大家这样换下来。
但是这波其实换下来，追猎还是损失有点多的。
哎呀，我跟你说，风暴之门那天我跟他们的人聊了一下，他们跟我们说，他们对比星际争霸什么的也没什么优势，他们唯一的优势就是他们更新。
这个已经是
他妈的，说的我无言以对，你知道吗？
对啊，他们更新这个事情，妈这个，
他说对我们最大的优势就是我们更新，你妈的个
完爆星际来这个就是，
这你妈。
The concern is Spirit just hit his peak, right? He just got stim, about to have combat shields.
他们最大的优势不是更新，而是他们把玩家当人，妈暴雪妈不把玩家当人的。哎呦，这波有点危险，直接跳漂亮。
哎呦
，2个全部跳完。有个光头啊，
损失还挺大的，损失挺大的这波推。
对。
Unsiege, maybe it got to see that medevac flying off to the left as well. That was a big gave medevac, hopefully going to the main base, but he brought it all back home in time. And
再来个承诺不关我就稳了，这个他应该承诺不了，是吗？他妈的，他做不好，他说不定公司都没了，他怎么会不关服呢？
不，其实是这样的，就是暴雪只要当人了，其实他就不会输。他妈的，只要暴雪不当人，别的游戏才会赢。他妈的，这个东西，暴雪真的有一天输了，他妈的也只能怪他自己。
是啊，这个他
如果真的在 RTS 领域上，他妈的暴雪输了，那么就只能怪暴雪自己。
进度啊，他们的进度还早呢，进度他们是计划是在2026年。能够把现在星际争霸的一些功能全部完成掉，就是你在2026年之前，你都不要想它有什么太多创新，就它能够完成到现在星际的这个就是这些功能啊，就比如说编辑器啊，什么游戏大厅啊，什么合作模式啊，对战啊，剧情啊，战役啊这些，它2026年前它能够做完，就已经谢天谢地了。
现在当然来不及，现在当然来得及的呀，怎么来不及？他却宣布一个，我们发现这个 RTS 玩家也是非常重要的，我们决定重新更新《星际争霸》的这个剧情内容。
那赢了呀？
那不就当人了吗？你妈个鸡，对不对？
效率低啊，效率不低了，这个效率已经很快了。
你们现在骂暴雪，骂暴雪的人，听到这个消息只能2个字真香呀，那不然呢？
不，你们说他们效率低，其实他们效率真不算低了。2026年能够完成他们现在想做的这些东西的话，已经效率挺高了，效率真不低。你们要说效率低的话，那真的是对做游戏还是有这个可能有些误解啊。做游戏的确还是蛮需要时间的，需要时间去打磨，需要时间堆一堆的。
你们对剧情想的太那个太复杂了，他就。比如说，战役中间有个时间段，对吧？那要
谢谢邱老，现在博士不能毕业的一个飞机感谢兄弟。
他就搞一个这种小的战役，对吧？到时候拿出来卖就好了。然后合作模式更新英雄就好。你们不要觉得人没了就好像就更新不了，他们其实想更新，随便找人更新，好吧？随便找人做都能做得出来的。
More tech like the Templar archives that might not all have a chance to come to fruition.
I was a little bit mistaken. I thought at some point Spirit was trying to put a third down at his natural, but obviously that's not the case at all. Trigger needs to be very aware of what's happening, and so far
这个部队其实有点凶的，那么多的光头，关键后面还是4个坦克。这一波35推出来，tirgger未必能接得住啊！这一波。35就2矿1波了，3矿还是开的，但农民有点少，就45个农民。
哎呀，别造了，直接窝了呀！操了！
他不会啊，他不会啊。
不过他这个兵的厚还是挺厚的。
他厚的一逼这个兵，他就等鬼兵现在。他其实就是2矿1波，只是把主矿的基地飞下来了。
我吹毛的服务器还在不在的呀？就是没人玩啊，我们早就搭好了那个帕鲁的服务器。就没人玩而已啊。No 总跟我说等 PVP 更新的再重新去开荒。
A little bit of a wild situation. We wait to see what Spirit wants to do. Trigger's back on the map with the Prism as well. Also has that Zealot run by around the right side. Just set up there. Yeah, he sees this tank setup. It looks super defensive from Spirit, so Trigger's gonna have a look at this and be like, well, I guess I'm glad I took a 4th base.
Absolutely. Second Robo coming online. Dark Shrine as well. More pros being pumped.
差不多要上了，再不上的话，等这个自爆球引刀出来，特别引刀出来的话，你35家里面肯定是守不过来的。
But it didn't happen, and Trigger was very cautious about the pro production, but as you see now, a very, very healthy count for him. And he survived, like, nothing was thrown his way. It's such a weird game. He does have to be careful about how greedy he is.
这个外面都是这种能够偷你家的东西，你只要出门，他就什么引刀啊，什么能进再插就过来了。
这波兵真的有点厚啊。
还不去吗？
Hey, you're ahead, right? Come kill me. And so I'm just going to be super defensive. But I mean,
星际卡牌游戏倒闭了呀，跟你说，还没做完，他们公司就倒闭了。
做卡牌游戏的公司已经倒闭了，
他们公司倒闭了就没做了。
Moving up the left-hand side, it's going to be able to drop in before this Viking gets rid of it, but a few bio units already here to root it. That's going to be a shutdown on the Prism, so that's going to give Spirit more freedom to really commit to the other side of the map.
这有点太急了，他妈的，别人门都还没出到，就刚到门口他就去搞事了。这样的话就没有后顾之忧了。
我们不能继续搞嘛，妈搞不起啊，兄弟。
That's going to cause mass chaos. Has to be careful about taking a fight like this, though. And so far,
里面2个叉，但是好像没反应。这他不会被插。
这2个叉插了12个农民啊，
那已经很多了。
不是搞不起啊，这个很贵的。
You just have this one massive army to deal with. Spirit's being very cautious with his tank siege. Catches a few zealots here. They're going to be freebies. I kind of like that Trigger's just like, okay, this is happening, and he just went fully into disruptive production.
感谢球奶人生灰暗没有目标的一个飞机，感谢兄弟。
感谢兄弟啊！
I like that part of it. Spirit continue to move these tanks around.
自爆球着实有点多，又被搞。
哇靠，这个坦克！
他主要自爆球有点多，现在35感觉未必塞得过来。太多了自爆球啊！家里面那
各种绕叉，
一致的现在只能孤注一掷，他没办法了。
多少我给你妈！你别吹牛逼，兄弟，先 V 个50看看实力，好吧？
我50是不是过了？你妈个鸡！
他妈的，你先办个卡看看实力。你他妈别他妈吹牛逼！
感谢球奶人生灰暗，没有目标的飞机，感谢兄弟。这自爆球，后面还有个长的自爆球，自爆球包抄，
没大到，但包的
他包抄，
哇靠，这个坦克
没了，
强行打，这个叉打不动了，有点，
肯定没了，
打不动了，这个叉吃光了，给他。沙师傅现在连吹根都打不过吗？他你妈是不是进了哪位之后就躺了嘛，就不练了？感觉找到一个大战队养老了吗？
不可能的呀！妈个鸡，哪位怎么可能让
哪位他妈的说不定哪天把他开了？我操！
哪位就只想拿石油杯的那个积分，
他这么打石油杯都进不去。
但是听说好像是哪位好像有点抠，
哪位是很抠的呀。
But he's still going to have the army problem, but he kept it busy enough that the army didn't matter. It never got the chance to take advantage, and Spirit could have really done with some point just saying, you know what, let's go for it, right? Because this was as aggressive as he got, but this was A, too late, and B, then it was even just a portion of it all, so...
哪位 DOTA 也变青训了 ，CSGO 也就那样。
我印象里面哪位我知道，就是因为他们拿了一次那个 TI 冠军嘛，那次。
那有多久了？10年前的吧？
对啊，就很久嘛。就知道我知道哪位是这件事情知道的。
就是哪位他们那帮人不就单底那帮人，不是还到你们公司下面去你妈的住过一段时间吗？
对的，住过的。
感谢球奶张宏胜全家安康的一个飞机，感谢兄弟，
感谢兄弟啊！
只要哪位就是单底那帮人嘛，单底那帮人不是抬到孙哥公司楼下去你妈寄宿过的吗？
还是用泉水沟，正。
感谢球奶我拿不到好 offer 的一个飞机，感谢兄弟。当时他们来国内混嘛，当时就是跑到孙哥他们公司楼下去寄宿。
牛奶张宏胜全家安康的飞机啊，感谢兄弟啊！
是不是跑去寄宿嘛？当时
对
单地他们那帮人。
That's a big deal because people have made it out of group stages 2-3 score.
不能说技术。
感谢球奶陈依婷不做我老婆的一个飞机，感谢兄弟。
感谢兄弟。
2-0 here could really make him feel good and
还有感谢树上的红骑士的飞机。
感谢兄弟啊！
哎呀，你先说一下，孙哥，我去个厕所。
今天打完我妈个鸡，我就觉得李培南心态肯定很差。哎，明天打赢了还要看人脸色。我大概率觉得啊，我现在在这边预测一下，明天李培南2-1战胜了罗昂格纳洛克，但最终还是没有晋级到，就是因为小分的原因没有晋级到12强，大概率是这样子。
Reddit will tell me that this matchup is unwinnable for Protoss, but there's a lot of builds for Terran that are just good these days that can guarantee your safety into a normal game, which Spirit shouldn't be looking at himself against tigger as like, oh, I have to resort to one of these crazier things, right? Like, but again,
赢不了哎，可以赢，真可以，你不要太小看他的这个TVZ。
Yeah, every game is a clean slate.
Every game a clean slate. We'll see what the builds are going to turn out to be here on Alcyone with Cybercore coming up. Next going down, no attempt of a blockage this time from Spirit, so just going to stay away from that. He has already mined through on the bottom side.
今天主要还是要看夜蝶的这个比赛啊，今天夜蝶这场是非常非常的关键。
Factory obviously over here, right? But is going to be like a 3 Hellion dropship kind of thing, or
就夜蝶待会儿在主舞台上打这个阿斯菲亚，这场是非常关键。他只要能够把阿斯菲亚拼下来，那夜蝶在这个小组的出现其实就比较好了，因为他最后一场是打这个小组相对来说比较弱的卡拉朱尔，对吧？他赢了阿斯菲亚，最后一场再拿下卡拉朱尔，那他就基本上出线了。
Or just build the starport next to it and you just keep on dropping from that proxy position to keep up the pressure.
And we've got to remember, Spirit right now
did
not scout his opponent this game at all. So
我说实话，鸡哥机会真的不大呀，鸡哥。妈个鸡哥今天待会儿上来第一场要打大克，大克这个 ZVP 鸡哥怎么可能接得住？就不可能。那只有最后一场要打城墙哥。城墙哥 PVP 也不弱啊。
That shouldn't be too surprising for Spirit.
No, and maybe that's why he's opening like this, because Blink is not going to help you defend against these things. Yes, it gives you the better follow-up maybe to do damage, but it doesn't give you good defense initially. You don't have the Phoenix to lift up units and to kind of nullify the power of the attack. They're losing Adept here as well. You see Spirit's micro, first person to take that down, so the Adept will fall. And we get ready with the...
这地图嘛都是黑的，我靠。
Barracks coming up there, so all this harassment about to start up, and like I say, right now, tigger doesn't really know about it either, so it's going to be very important that he tries to be in position preemptively. Losing one Adept ain't going to help you with that, though.
No, it is not. And was that second barracks in the main? It should be, right?
It was.
All right, you're right. He's so far getting rid of that Adept's actually quite nice.
直接投3个火车拼一枪。
If it waits over by that third, you can kind of
我感觉沙师傅的这个第一视角好慢啊。
But this really depends on this Hellion drop dealing quite a bit of damage. Now, is it possible we can see the pilot in the main base of tigger in this situation? Because if you don't spot it as it's coming in, you can be in a lot of trouble. Okay, really nice.
看一下，没有防守，有机会，有没有串烧？4个农民，继续烧，继续烧。哎，哇靠！这6个，继续烧，9个。我觉得也不算很赚啊，毕竟你是野的这个建筑，然后你现在这段时间里面。 应该说，在1分钟内，你的这个 VS 和 VF 是没有任何的一个生产的空间的，没有任何生产的，直接一波来了，这挡不住啊，感觉。直接往上面跳，你没有坦克的呀，你现在没有任何生产能力的 VF。 完了，结束了，兴奋剂也没了，光头先给你 A 掉。继续的往后面跳，继续往后面跳，一个跳，好了，再去正面再刷波兵。VF 要被打爆，这你妈，杀师傅就这现在。哎，这辈子都不要，你这辈子都没有，哎，再往上跳，一个接的不是很好，接的不是很好。这个没想到杀师傅有那么多的光头，啊，再刷一波，啊，直接开3矿了。
This isn't a full Giga committal by tirgger, but I gotta say, I thought Spirit was going to take more damage from all of this. Well done handling so far.
You had to pull the SCVs quickly, and that's exactly what he did. This is dangerous as well, though. Right now, you've just got 4 stalkers to deal with here, and that's still such a nuisance.
有个农民就这样干，第一波他飞碟跳下来就不该是这么打的。他不应该去点这个枪兵，他就打农民就好了。打农民的话，杀师傅更伤。
Stim's about to be done. We're once again at that point where the Terran army is going to reach its peak potential for the early game. And that is scary. It's once again a trigger to try to stop Spirit from getting across the map.
哎，这引刀估计又要搞得杀师傅很不爽，因为现在杀师傅这个更在被骚扰，所以说他的矿罗是不会停的，他一直在打矿罗，他不会留能量的。待会引刀进家怎么办
？The bully on the playground. He's the guy that has to sit, weather the storm for a bit.
擦呀，擦你妈有什么好骚扰的吗？
That takes a lot of time, and this is the kind of game that tirgger
引刀好了呀
where he's the one that makes the moves, but does he know about this?
也不要多，就刷2把，一把去2矿，一把去主矿。刷3把，妈个鸡！看能量哦，看能量哦，没2矿没有能量，主矿也没能量，刚砸矿罗完了。完了，记了，这个已经记了。2矿有没有能量吧？应该还有1把能量吧？快了。好，就1把没了。这你主矿怎么办？这个是严重的影响了节奏啊！这个是。不，他在操作什么呀？这个 tirgger， 你杀农民啊！这眼睁睁看着这个防攻好吗？他妈我人傻了！杀师傅也乱了，也没修我简直了！这2个人在干嘛？
No, he's really not. Like he's being forced back home at every opportunity here. Even if he does move out, it's like you're against a bigger, better Protoss right now. Like I think that's the second Colossus finishing up right here. Might even be the third. And tirgger, he knows something.
不过不管怎么样 ，tirgger 经过这波引刀的骚扰，自己这个运营起来了。现在经济优势很大，而且科技上也有优势。只要有巨像在的话，其实杀师傅这波就很难打，很难能够过去搞。
Yeah, the one thing Spirit did is not lose too many SCVs as he drops straight into the main base, and suddenly tirgger's the one that has to be the responder, so this is going to be tough. Losing the prism inside the map as well.
又在多线抗压。啊，这兵什么意思啊？走了？他 F2 了刚才，再回来，再被自己的建筑员卡成弱智。这翻了。
It's not enough so far. DTs get scanned immediately.
This is not clean. What's happening? Tirgger's falling apart. This army in the main. He was not ready for it whatsoever. Look at tirgger. He knows he's not controlled this game. What just happened?
Wow, Spirit just, I mean, it was all in the main base as well. Whatever happened on the third, that was dealt with, but he just didn't have the units over there. It was his moment of weakness. Like you said, there was an opportunity right just before too much splash comes online, and he gets somewhere. There's no batteries, there's no defense advantage. In fact, the aggressor had the advantage there. The Colossus nearly going down.
强行投巨像呀，这个时候，妈巨像把你搞了呀！好了，巨像没了，GG，这种都能很傻了。
Any involvement being in, you know, like that was just crazy. And yeah, he can have a little bit of a cheeky smile as well because he was down and out. That drop in the main, I saw like a Protoss army coming over to deal with it. Then just a few ragtag units were left over. The rest would be in like I think F2'd over to his third base to
有
deal
没有
with
大概我看一下，黄哥你主要不在，黄哥在推流，所以说
how big and strong that drop was in the main.
B 频道嘎姐，你去看 B 频道吧，他们妈对这场实在不想看了。
看什么 B 频道是吧？
嗯，嘎姐打黑罗马瑞，
这场还好看的一点，说不定。
嗯。